What's up, everybody? Phil with Photo Gear Fun here today with a little bit of an impromptu stream. Lunchtime stream. Just wanted to chat, give some channel updates, some updates about gear, find out what might be on your mind. We'll see if anybody joins. Hey, Bobby World. Welcome. You're the first to join. I'm not sure how well this will go, how many people actually have lunchtime free to be able to join. Just wanted to get together and give a channel update, talk a little bit about gear, any questions that you had that you think I might be able to answer. Thank you for 1,000 subscribers, and if you notice in the chat now that there is a super chat enabled, so I now have the ability to be able to have folks send super chats over to me. So if you want to support the channel, super chat is certainly one way that you can do it. Watching the videos obviously helps as well, but there is now the capability to be able to send a super chat, and a super chat just allows you to be able to donate and send a question or a comment with that donation, and that helps the channel. YouTube gets a little bit of that, but I get most of that, which is going to be helpful for the channel, hopefully. So don't feel compelled to give, but it's there if you need it. Do you have any questions to start with? I see a couple people watching. If not, we'll kind of jump right into my biggest purchase, the one that I'm most excited about, and that is the Sony A6400. You can see it here. I did a video on it with this cage setup, and this is Sony's vlogging camera. You can see it does have a flip up screen, not flip out screen, but flip up screen. It does allow you to be able to attach a microphone as well. So if you watch that video, I showed you kind of how I would connect it. There's a Rode Video Micro that I connect to this little arm, and this is a small rig cage, and that just allows you to be able to add a bunch of different things to it. You can connect this to a tripod. You can add a bunch of accessories like this arm that we have here. You can add shoe mounts. There's a mount here, which is where the actual microphone would go, but you can see all the different slots that you have. Also, this lens is new. It's the 18-105. I think this is going to be my vlogging lens. We'll see. I did, like I said in my video, if you haven't seen it, that was released this weekend. I did a video with this combination. I'm going to take it out at some point and do some photography with it, see how it does for photography, see how it does for videography. If you have any questions about the A6400, if you're watching live, certainly post them in the chat. And if you're seeing the replay, post them down below. Also got this nice little macro lens. This is a Sony macro lens. It's on my A6500. And this is a camera that I use to do my product shots, or what people call B-roll shots. And this macro allows me to get really, really close to subjects. If you saw that latest video, when you're looking at like the Rode Video mic and those shots, you can see how close I'm able to get with the macro lens. And it also might work well for photos. So I'm going to review this as well, probably on the A6400, and see how it does with regular photos as well as video. And I'm filming this with the Sony A7, and on that Sony A7 is a 50mm lens. The folks call it the Nifty 50, and that's filming us right now. It weighs a little over 2 pounds. It's like 2.2 pounds with the cage on it. So if you have the cage and the microphone, which I don't have now because I'm going to show you something else a little later with the microphone on it, but if you don't, the microphone weighs almost nothing, but it's a little over 2 pounds. If you're holding it kind of like this, or you have a tripod, I've got a little Manfrotto tripod that I use. It probably would cause fatigue after a little while, but for doing kind of short vlog segments, or you can hold it if you're not filming yourself and you want to do some standard video holding it. It feels steady and sturdy and heavy enough to be able to give you some good smooth movements, but not too heavy. Hopefully that it will cause fatigue. This cage it's an a6300 cage. I think it was $30 or something like that. It's aluminum. It's fairly light, but it definitely adds, if you're going to be doing video and you want to add to your setup, it certainly helps quite a bit. I've got a cage for a couple other cameras as well. Also got an accessory for the DJI Osmo, which I used when I went to Disney last, and it's a great little, I think it's a great little vlogging camera. The field of view might be a little narrow, but what you're seeing here is a holder that I got, and the phone goes in here, and then you can connect your phone to the Osmo, and there's a microphone adapter. Now this didn't come with it. I actually glued on this metal piece to be able to connect it. And there's also a microphone adapter that I have somewhere. Here it is. Probably hard to see, but this will allow you to connect the external microphone to the Osmo Pocket. It goes in the bottom of the pocket. And DJI hasn't released firmware yet to enable that, but I'm assuming once they do, this will be another little vlogging rig, and you can use your phone to help move the gimbal and see better. And this really does, the Osmo Pocket, one of the things I like most about it is the motion time lapses that it does. And if you saw the video on this when I took it to Disney, you can see I did one at Magic Kingdom, and it really came out, I think it came out really, really well. So again, that Manfrotto tripod, they're expensive. They're nicely made. You know, it's got a little ball head on it. I think this was $50. I also use these, which I like more. These are Kingjoy, and these are solid metal. And this one was, I think, $35, and it does have a ball head. And this is what I use around the studio. So you can't see it right now, but my monitor is resting on one, and I use this when I'm doing my videos. I use this for lights. So I have these little lights here that I put on and use with these tripods. So I really like these. These are available on Amazon. I think I did a video on one of these a while back, but this thing is solid, but it doesn't really weigh a lot. And I like these much more. What else? Any questions? I did a quick video yesterday, and it's not necessarily photography related, but it's about how to transfer files from your iPad to the Western Digital Drive. And that actually came in a comment. One of the folks who commented on one of my videos asked about how you can transfer from the iPad to the Western Digital Drive. Normally you're transferring from the drive to the iPad, and it's not that simple, at least not with the software that comes with the drive. So I did a quick 2-minute video on that, on how to transfer that over. If you're an iPad or iPhone user, check that one out. So I do see some folks watching. Certainly appreciate if you have any questions. This is probably going to be a quick one. I'll probably end this around 12:30. I've got to get back to work, but again, I do want to thank everybody for their support. We hit 1,000 subscribers, which is a big milestone for a channel. That's when you can monetize and start making a little bit of money from your channel. And I put a lot of work into this. I've had this channel now, I think, a year and a half or so. And each video does take a bit of time to produce. And then it allows you to also, I think at 1,000, you can enable Super Chat, which I talked about a little earlier, that we have Super Chat enabled now. Yeah, and Bobby World, the Western Digital Drive is a great drive for backing up and entertainment. Let me see, I've got it over here. And this does come with me when I travel. The thing is, it's a wireless drive, so when you're trying to transfer large files, it really is kind of slow. So this is the drive itself, and this is a 1 terabyte version. You can see it's fairly thin, fairly light, and it gives you great battery life. The battery lasts seemingly forever. I'll take this with me when I travel we'll put movies on it, and up to 4 different devices can connect. So you can use it kind of as a streaming device. It also integrates with LumaFusion, which is what I use to do my video editing when I'm on the go. And that's pretty slick. But again, transferring files is really slow. What I'm excited about is the Gnarbox, which I have on order, the Gnarbox 2, which hopefully will be coming this month. And I'm definitely going to do videos on that on the channel. But that seems to be, I have the Gnarbox 1. Gnarbox 2 is going to be faster, and it seems like it might be a good solution for transferring videos faster, because you'll actually be able to, if you have an iPad Pro, you'll be able to wire it through USB-C. So look for that coming in the future. As soon as I can get my hands on it, I'll do a video, and I'm very excited about the Gnarbox. I think that's a great solution. The question about adapting Canon glass with a 6400 for video. I haven't done it yet. I do have the MC11 adapter. I've tried it with the A7 III, I think, and maybe the 6500, so I can't imagine the experience is going to be that much different. But I'm definitely going to be doing more videos on the A6400, and one of them is adapting. In general, I find adapted lenses for video aren't really great. They seem to work well for photography. Some of them will autofocus, but the autofocus is definitely going to be slower than a native lens would. However, if you have Canon glass and you happen to want to get into the Sony system, that MC11 adapter I think you can find for around, and it's a lot of money, I know, but around $200 or so. It's still less expensive than buying lenses that you might already have. So I've got the 70-200 f4 for Canon. I've got the 85mm 1.8, the 24-105, and those are lenses that I didn't really want to rebuy, and I actually use them on my Fuji system as well with another adapter. But for video, they're decent, but they're not going to give you the performance that a native lens would. And so this nifty 50 here probably wouldn't do well on a crop A6400 because of the crop factor to be 1.5, so it'd be more like a 75mm. But there might be like this little 30mm macro seems to work well for video. So if you're looking for something to get into the system, and the lenses are fairly inexpensive, this is around $250. I think that nifty 50 is $250 or something like that. So you can get into the Sony lens system for APS-C fairly inexpensively, but they don't have a lot of great lenses. I do have the Sigma lenses for the Sony, the 16mm, 30mm, and 56mm f1.4, and they're great lenses. They're great for video, but they are noisy. So if you're going to be doing like vlogging with that 16mm, it's a little bit tough because it's fairly noisy, and the microphone may pick it up. Sorry about that. The A6400 does charge via USB. I found the battery life to be better than the A6500, but the A6500 was terrible on battery life. Because I have the A6500, I bought a bunch of batteries. So I would say if you're going to be doing a full day of hybrid shooting with video and pictures, you're probably going to need 2 batteries at a minimum, I would think. It doesn't overheat. I haven't found it to overheat. So the new processor that they put in there actually helps with the overheating issues that the A6500 had. It also does help with battery life. It's a little bit more efficient. So I find that the battery life is a little bit better. How to compare the video quality from the 64 to the Fuji X-T3? That's a tough one. I probably at some point will do some videos with the 6400. So I have been using the X-T3 as my main video camera for shooting channel videos, and I really like it. I think the video that comes out of it is really, really good. It does 4K 60, which the 6400 doesn't, but I've always been a fan of the Sony video, and the A6400 I think is going to do a great job. So keep a lookout on the channel. I might do an episode just with the A6400 as my main shooter, and kind of maybe not a full review, but just talking about the features for video and see how it does with overheating and those types of things. But the video coming from it so far is great. The picture profiles that they have, picture profile 1, which is actually what I'm using right now on the A7 III, is a really great profile, if you don't want to do any messing with the colors and color grading, picture profile 1 seems to be really good for colors. And they're, you can just like with Fuji, you can kind of tweak the profiles. The one thing with the Fuji X-T3 is you have all the kind of classic Fuji emulations that you can use that you can set in camera and will apply to video. So black and white, classic chrome, all of the different Fuji profiles that if you knew Fujifilm, they look really nice. And again, that's something that you can pick a profile that looks good to you, and you won't really have to do much with the video if you don't want to, as far as color grading goes. They're both great cameras. I think it's tough. I love both of them, and I use them both in different ways. But the Fuji X-T3 is it's a great camera and great for video. And I tend to use all of my cameras as hybrid cameras. So I really want something where I can shoot photos, which I really like to do, and also video when I'm out for vlogging or whatever the case may be. But I think the video quality, it's pretty comparable. Although the Fuji can do higher bit rates. I think it does up to 400 megabits per second, and the Sony's at 100. So in theory, you're going to get more bandwidth out of the Fuji if you want to set it that high, but that means larger file sizes and maybe more difficult to edit. So you kind of have to balance that. I think I don't ever go higher than 200 on the Fuji, and I think that's where I would cap it. I think 100 is probably pretty good for a lot of YouTube delivery. If you're going to do something that's not YouTube, then the higher bit rate might help. Thank you guys for joining. Thanks for those questions. I really appreciate it. I don't know if I'm using the the A7 III right now. I changed my camera angle. I have a new background. So this is not real wood. I don't know if you could tell or not. It needs to be, I think, ironed a little bit. But in my past videos, I didn't really like there was too much that you could see with the door and the reflections, and there's really a lot that I had to deal with. I also changed my camera angle. I used a wider angle where you could see the desk and you could see other things, and now this is a 50mm angle. So I'm trying to figure out what looks best. So if you're watching this live, if you want to let me know what you think, and also leave a comment if you're watching the replay of this. What do you think of the background compared to, if you've seen my other videos, compared to videos where you can actually see my door? I've got French doors here, and you can see the glass and sometimes the reflection. There's a mirror in the back. I wanted to try to simplify so that we could focus on whatever it is that we're talking about in the video. So hopefully this looks good. Let me know what you think. There's also, behind this, there's a white, like a whitewashed background as well, which I may use at some point. Just kind of trying some new things, trying to make the videos a little better. The lights I'm using are, I've got two lights here which are newer, fairly inexpensive lights that are LED lights. They are bicolor, so you can adjust them to whatever temperature you want. And the light that you're seeing on the background is actually natural light. I've got a window here to my left, and I've got some really soft drapes kind of diffusing the light that makes it look, I think it looks pretty natural. In the video that I did on Saturday, I actually had a light on the background to kind of light the background up because it was a cloudy day, but today's sunny and you can see the sun shining through, and I really like that natural light look. Oh, thanks for the background. Yeah, I figure it's going to be out of focus most of the time, but I think it's better than what was there, what I found to be distracting. I never really got any comments on it, but I never really liked it that much either. And this background, just when I'm done using it, I fold it up and it's on stands, and I just raise it above the doorway, and so we can use the door. Right now we can't really use the door because the door is kind of smacking into it, but I think it's I think it adds rather than detracts, but definitely interested in hearing feedback on that one. And I hope the video is looking good. I can see it looks good on YouTube from what I see, but what I see on my screen doesn't always match when I go back and watch it. And I hope the audio is good. I'm using a Rode video mic. The Rode Filmmaker kit. You can see the lav mic here, which I found just to be easier when I'm doing these types of videos, like when if I have to get up like I did better than microphones I used to use. Just a mic that would sit here in front of me, and I'm just giving this a shot, so I hope the sound is okay. It's not really processed. Thanks, Bobby World. I actually was going for, my wife said log cabin, I was going for more of a kind of a cabin manly look, and I think this does it. And we'll see. I'm going to check out how the whitewashed one looks, excuse me, on video. But these are all just kind of small things that I'm trying to do that hopefully will add a little bit to the videos. Constantly learning. This YouTube journey has been very interesting, and I wish I had more time to devote to it, especially lately. Kind of that whole work thing gets in the way of real life. Real life gets in the way of this YouTube stuff, so I'm trying to do videos as often as I can and trying to just hone my craft. It's difficult if you don't do it a lot. Yeah, suggestions for a key light. I don't know if you're talking about flash rather than constant light. These LED lights are kind of my key lights, if you will. But for flash, I just buy the Yongyo flashes. I don't do a lot of flash photography, and I've got a softbox on it that, you know, it's a $80 flash setup, I think, something like that, with a, I don't know, $20 softbox or something like that. I tend not to do a lot of flash. I'm not into portrait photography. I do a lot of wildlife. I did a lot of still life. I do some product shots, and I use a light tent and these constant lights, the LED lights, in order to do that. I know some people do use flash with product photography, but I'm not. I just find them not necessary for me and can get very, very expensive. Like that 120D you're talking about can be pricey. But I'm sorry, you did say LED. I'll leave a link if I end up replaying this. But if you go to Amazon and search Neewer, Neewer LED lights, these were fairly inexpensive. They came as a kit too. I think it included the stand, an adapter. They do run on battery power as well, so they are portable. It comes with a little carrying case, and I've been really happy with them. They're at about a quarter power right now. They can be cranked up quite a bit more. They do come with a diffuser, but you could probably want to maybe even soften the light a little bit more to get another type of diffusion put on there. But I've been really happy with those. They do great. I haven't used them for photography, but again, if I do portraits, generally I'll do them in natural light, and I don't do a lot of portrait shoots. I'm trying to think. Oh, I also got this little thing here, which is a recorder. It's a Tascam DR60D Mark II, and I have the DR40, and I was having issues with files being lost and corrupted with the DR40, and it wasn't as easy to use as I'm finding this. So there'll be, I don't know how many folks are into audio on the channel. My audio videos don't tend to do very well, but I'm still going to do a review on that, just to give folks an idea. It's battery powered. It's got 4 AA batteries. I find the sound is actually better. The video I did on Saturday, I used this, so I don't know if you'll notice the sound difference, but this is definitely more convenient. It does include, you have 2 inputs for XLR, the prototype microphones, and then 1 input for a regular, like a Rode video mic or something to that effect. And we'll probably do a review or first look on that. Oh, thanks, Bobby World. Yeah, we'll see how we do. Hey, Jason, welcome. Thanks for the congrats. Just talking about a bunch of gear, just babbling on, rambling on. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's been a seemingly long journey, and again, I mean, 1K is an important milestone in a lot of different ways. I probably won't obsess as much about other milestones as I did this one, but it is nice to finally be able to start making a few pennies back from YouTube on that. And again, the super chat being enabled can help. I'm not a big live streamer, so I really don't think that that's going to be a huge source of revenue, but it's available now as well. All right, we've got probably about another 6 minutes or so. I'm always tempted by gear as well. So that DR60, the bundle I got included, it just included some rechargeable batteries, but that Movo mic with this, if it's a Mark II, that would be a pretty sweet setup. And the thing I like about this too is you can actually attach this to your camera, so if you want to. And so the problem I had where I lost video, it was really frustrating. I was using that standalone recorder, which I didn't actually have any audio going into the camera. One of the reasons I got this, besides all the other features I talked about, was, come on, focus, is it has an audio out. So now I'm running audio in to this recorder, and then I run it out to my camera. So if something like that happens again, where I lose just the recorder audio, I'll have the audio on the camera, and the audio on the camera is coming from this recorder, so it sounds much better than it would from the camera itself. So there was one video I made a couple videos ago that just took me forever. My Ninja 5 was giving me issues. I was having issues with audio. Just everything seemed to go wrong. It took me so long to get that done. So I'm just trying to minimize the rework in the future. I don't really have a lot of time. I usually do the videos on Saturday, and it takes time away from me and my wife. But so I want to do them as quickly as I can, and this certainly will help to be able to have that audio go through into the camera. And at the very least, I've got that as a backup. But yeah, I'm digging it so far. We'll see how it does. I'm definitely going to use it in the rest of my videos as I move forward. Any other questions or comments? I'm not sure what the next video is going to be. I was going to do a review of this Samyang lens. This is a 24mm autofocus, and Samyang and Rokinon, same company. They make a bunch of different lenses. Not a lot of them are autofocus. This is autofocus for 24mm for the Sony. It's a full frame lens, and it was really inexpensive. I forget what I paid for it, but I'm going to do a review on that. I might do like a vlog style review, because I think that's, a lot of people will use this for vlogging. That 24mm on a full frame, and it's a f2.8. It weighs practically nothing. I can't even feel it in my hand. I have a 35mm version of this. I did a review on that. So that might be my next video. I just need to be able to get out to my favorite spot here in town and spend some time shooting video and shooting pictures, but that might be the next one. I'm not sure. We'll have to see what the weekend looks like. I think it's supposed to be a dry weekend for once, and it's supposed to be in the 50s. Excuse me, in the 50s, so we might be able to get out and do something. Yeah, Jason, that's a good question. The reason I do it, and the question about why you would use an external recorder instead of going into the camera, is the external recorders generally have better preamps, or the amplifiers that you use inside are better in general than a camera. So if you record on an audio recorder like the DR40 or the DR60, the audio should be cleaner. It should have less noise than if you're recording straight into the camera. So that's why a lot of people do it. It's for audio quality. And to be honest, I don't know how big a difference you would notice on YouTube. I question that a lot. Like, I know there are audiophiles. I'm not really an audiophile. I like to have clean audio, but is there really that big a difference unless you're listening with good headphones and you really, really want to hear the audio, if it makes that big a difference? But I've just always done it that way. It does seem like an extra step, but to me, it's worth it. Now, you do have the extra step as well, as taking the audio and syncing it in post-production with the camera, the video. And that's easy enough in Premiere, Final Cut, or any of the new editors. You can just click it and synchronize the audio and the video. It's really simple and straightforward. And then again, it gives you, if you're doing it the way that I'm doing it now, you have another source. So if something happens with your audio recorder, you still have it in the camera, where if you're just doing it in the camera and the camera audio failed for some reason, then you'd be in that same boat. And trust me, re-recording is not a lot of fun. That one video, it took me 3 times as long because I was losing audio recordings, I was losing video recordings. It does add some work, and it does add some expense, and in most cases recording to the camera is going to be fine, especially if you're outdoors and you've got a wireless setup, or you're using vlogging. Obviously you wouldn't want to go through that hassle, but in the studio I think it does actually help. Thanks for joining. I wasn't sure I would get anybody, to be honest with you. I don't know really what the good times are. A lot of my audience, from what I've seen, is in the US, so I figured maybe some folks could just pop in quickly for lunch. Generally in the evenings I don't have a lot of time. My work has been really crazy lately and seems to be getting crazier, so I've been working a lot of night hours, which hopefully will slow down at some point. But any final questions or comments before we call this a live stream? All right, well, thank you guys for watching live. Thanks everybody for watching the replay. Please let me know what you thought about what we discussed, especially interested in hearing about your opinion about the background, the audio and video quality of this live stream. If you'd like to see more live streams in the future, again, I don't do this a lot. I don't know how much value you guys get from it. So let me know what you think of the live streams. If you feel like they add value, maybe I'll try to do a little bit more of those. Get out there and have your photo gear fun. We'll talk to you again in the next video. Thanks, guys.